Okay.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, once again, welcome to the Garrison Union Free School District annual reorganizational meeting and a regular business meeting. I'm going to start with the roll. Jocelyn Apicello. Here. David Gelber.
Here.
Jennifer Harrington-Wilson.
Here from Rochester.
Dan Jasnow. Here. Courtney McCarthy. Here. Kent Schott.
Here.
Sarah Tormey. Here. Staff of the pledge.
United States.
I'm going to start with our oath of office for our newly elected board members. Dan, would you like to come up?
Sure.
And Dan has been elected to a 3-year term commencing July 1st through June 30th, 2026. And I'm just going to have to read this.
I, Dan Jasnow, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education member of the Garrison School District for the period from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026, according to the best of my ability. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Jocelyn. Jocelyn was also elected to a 3-year term.
I, Jocelyn Apicello, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education member of the Garrison School District for the period from July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2026, according to the time scale.
Okay, we're going to move on to the nominations for board president. These will be by verbal public vote. May I have a nomination for the office of board president?
I nominate Sarah. I second it.
Are there any other nominations for the office of board president? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Okay, Sarah Tormey is elected board president for the term ending June 30th, 2024. Congratulations, Sarah, come on up.
I, Sarah Tormey, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board President of the Garrison Union Free School District Board of Education for the period from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, according to the best of my ability.
Sarah, I'm going to turn it over to you now to do nominations for board vice president.
Thank you very much, Betsy. Well, facing me for another year, we're going to
I did it. All right. May I have nominations for the office of board vice president?
I nominate Courtney McCarthy.
Yeah. Second. Right? And just make sure I get this. Better. Well, learn about these roles. All right. Move on to a vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
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 You. Nay. Abstention. All right.
Congratulations, Courtney is elected board vice president for the term ending June 30th, 2020.
I'm not sure.
I, Courtney McCarthy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board Vice President of the Garrison Union Preschool District Board of Education for the period from July 1, 2023 through June 30th, my last day, June 24th, according to the best of my ability.
Great. Now we're going to move on to the private district clerk. Yeah. Sure. Oh, sure. Okay. So do this, and then we'll read the motion. Be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Preschool District hereby appoints Betsy Callan as district clerk for the Garrison Union Preschool District effective July 12th, 2023 through the annual reorganization of July 2024 at annual site. May I have a motion, please? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Nay. Abstention. Okay. Oh, great.
I, Dusty Callow, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk of the Garrison Union Free School District for the period from July 12, 2023 through the organizational meeting of July 2024, according to the best of my ability.
Okay. Great, thank you, Dusty, for getting us started. We're going to move on to the board appointment of school district officers. Recommended action first, be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the annual appointment of school officers for the period from July 12, 2023 through the annual reorganizational meeting of July 2024. May I have a motion, please? So moved. Is everyone okay? They're all in your packet. I'm not seeing a lot along the list here, so I'm not going to read them out. They all post publicly for the public to see in your adoption. Everyone's okay with that? Jennifer, you're good? All right. All in favor? Please say aye.
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 Nay.
Sarah, it's a little hard to hear you.
All right, I'll get closer to this microphone. Is that better?
Much better, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. All right. To record that vote, I get my eye. All right. Names. Abstention. We're going to move on now to the annual board appointment. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the following consent agenda of annual appointments for the period from July 12, 2023 through the annual reorganizational meeting of July 2024. Again, the list is in your packet, and also posted in Board Docs for the public to see. Do you have any, may I have a motion, please? Do you have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Thank you. Move on to the acting principal recommendation. It's resolved in the event that the principal of the Garrison School is not physically present in the Garrison School building on one or more days or portions thereof during the 2023-2024 school year, that the superintendent shall be acting principal for all short-term student discipline matters pursuant to section 3214 of the New York State Education Law. May I have a motion, please? Okay, anyone have any questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Oh, I'm gonna pass. Acting superintendent recommendation. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby appoint Joe Jimick as acting superintendent in the absence of the superintendent for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion, please? Any questions or comments on this one? You did a great job running our last meeting. Really are. Okay, go ahead and move your vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yay, abstention. We move on to annual board designations. First up is designate official bank depositories. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the following banks as the school district's official bank depositories for the fiscal 2023-2024 school year. Manufacturers and Traders, M&T Bank, TD Bank, New York Cooperative Liquid Asset Securities System. May I have a motion, please? So moved. Quick question here. The New York Cooperative Liquid Asset Securities System, new one?
Yeah, it's not completely new to Garrison. And it is now that we're in a higher interest rate environment. There are some advantages. Other banks, this is a cooperative that has a lot of municipal and district customers, and they generally give better rates than the other two.
Related to that, we have three. How do you point out?
No, it is the M&T Bank has our main operating accounts. TD Bank has accounts that have one account that has the large balance in it, and we'll probably use some of that too.
Do you have any other questions before we move on? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay. Abstention. Next up, we have designate official newspapers. Be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the newspapers listed below as the official newspapers of the Garrison Union Free School District for the 2023-2024 school year. Putnam County News and Reporter, Journal News. May I have a motion, please? Any questions? Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Next up, we have designated official bank signatories. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the district treasurer or the deputy district treasurer in the absence of the district treasurer to sign checks for all district accounts, except the extra classroom activity account the fiscal year 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, have any questions on our official bank statement? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Moving on to designate educational official, CEO. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby designate the superintendent as designated educational official to receive court notification regarding a student sentence or adjudication in certain criminal cases and juvenile delinquency proceedings for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion, please? Question? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Designation of residency determination. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District designate the superintendent to make residency determination. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Jennifer, please jump in at any point. Just shout out, I've got a question. All right, thanks. Any questions? So we're gonna keep going. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. All right. Move on to the annual board authorization. Signatory authorization for extra classroom activity account. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the central treasurer or the deputy district treasurer in the absence of the senate treasurer to sign checks for the extra classroom activity account. May I have a motion, please? Question? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Signatory authorization for district drop-in. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the board president or board vice president in the absence of the board president to sign documents on behalf of the district. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay, abstention. Authorized mileage allowance. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes remunerative allowance, she just said that, as per annual internal revenue service mileage reimbursement rate to staff members who use their personal vehicle for school business with approval of the superintendent. May I have a motion, please? November. Well, you're just do that. Okay, that's it. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Authorization to establish petty cash fund. The resolved Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorized to establish the petty cash fund and authorizes the district treasurer to maintain the petty cash fund in the amount of $200. May I have a motion? Thank you. Do you have any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Authorized association membership. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorized the following associate memberships for the 2023-2024 school year. New York State School Boards Association, Westchester Putnam School Boards Association, New York State Association of School Business Officials. May I have a motion, please? Excellent. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Authorized transfer of funds. Here's all the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorized the superintendent to approve line item budget transfers within a budget category and any budget transfers between budget categories according to limits prescribed by Commissioners Regulations Section 170.2 and board guidelines up to $10,000. May I have a motion, please? Have any questions on it? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Authorized to sell, dispose of surplus property. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the superintendent to declare as surplus and dispose of school district property which is unusable or has a value of less than $500. May I have a motion, please? Question? Go for it. Microphone.
Just out of curiosity, how much, do we got how much property is it? How much we,
I'll let Joe jump in, but, Dan, we do, and in fact, it's very rare. We actually bring to the Board of Education on any given agenda, a list of things that are disposed of. Something very common would be, end-of-life technology, Chromebooks or things such as that. And in many cases, they're much less than 500. Full transparency about their education. Yeah, am I missing any? The only other thing that I would add to that is, the other thing that we also have to get permission for is obsolete any old textbooks that we have to have permission from the board to get rid of. Basically anything that has a significant value or a technology device has an asset tag associated with it. And if it has an asset tag, you bring that to the board and ask the board's permission. And there's every time that happens, obviously,
and then if we get payment for the property that's disposed of, that will be a whole lot of.
yeah, it just goes in.
Jennifer, were you able to hear all of that well?
Yeah, pretty well. It's kind of a little garbled. And I apologize that you can't see all of me. I'm trying to toggle between the agenda, and the height of the table I'm at in this lobby is a little high. So you can see my head.
Speak slowly and clearly. Sorry if I'm speaking. All right, we're gonna go to a vote then, unless there's any further questions on the property. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Thank you. Nay, abstention. Authorization of conferences, conventions, workshops. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the superintendent to approve staff attendance at conferences, conventions, and workshops as appropriate. May I have a motion, please? Okay. Have any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Bonding of personnel as law 2122, 2124, 2327. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorizes the faithful performance blanket bond coverage for the following personnel as noted. I'm not going to go ahead and read the list. It is again in board docs and on your agenda. Does anyone have any questions? May I have a motion, please? Great. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Indemnification under Section 18, Public Officer Law. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopts the provisions of the Public Officers Law, Section 18, for the defense and indemnification of school district officers and employees. May I have a motion, please? So, any questions? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Okay. Next, we move on to committee designations, appointments, and purpose. We're going to begin with Committee on Special Education and Committee on Preschool Special Education. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District authorize the following committee membership for CSE and CPSE. And they're listed here. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay. Anyone have any questions regarding the committee? So that's
Just,
new structure for.
it is, and our psychologist CSE chair, David Roper, will be the primary CPSA CSE chairperson. We also have listed a part-time psychologist, Alexi, and also our principal, Allison May, who is a 20-year special education teacher, and has extensive background with. They're alternate chairs. So in the event that a Roper has conflict or can't chair and needs to have meetings, and it's rare, but sometimes we have a meeting, we have some backups. Also, I just want to thank our parent member, Tim Stubbs. She did a training that to serve as a parent member for any parent that wants support through the CSE process. So thank you, Tim.
Any follow-up question? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay. Abstention. Annual adoptions and approval. Be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopt a list of impartial hearing officers as listed on the New York State Education Department Impartial Hearing Reporting System website, and hereby authorizes the board president or board vice president to formally appoint a hearing officer by signing a letter of appointment. Be it further resolved that compensation will be made according to the maximum hourly rate approved by the State Education Department pursuant to section 4404, 71 of the Education Law. May I have a motion, please? Any questions? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Adoption of policies and code of ethics and effects during the previous fiscal year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approved the adoption of the Board of Education Policy Manual as currently constituted. May I have a motion? So moved. This was updated just last year, so we made up should be in pretty good shape. Jennifer and Dan.
Well, just to clarify, we addressed some of them as the year goes on, and it's taking off to provide and, for example,
I can't hear anything that's being said.
okay, we'll read it.
But can you hear her now?
If she says something.
You should hear my phone.
I can't understand a single thing that's being said.
Okay, so we're gonna revisit the code of conduct, but we do revisit a lot of them throughout the year. Basically the gist of that. And the policy manual is really exciting reading. I don't know if you've got to it yet, but it's great. Good time.
Wasn't allowed to.
Sarah will call you tomorrow to quiz you on the entire one.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the table, so all in favor, unless there's any questions on the policy manual, okay? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay. Abstention. Okay. Establish capitalization and depreciation threshold for fixed assets. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby establish $5,000 as the threshold for reporting the capitalization and depreciation of fixed assets in accordance with GASB 34 regulations. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Do you have any questions on this? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Establishment of annual rates of pay for substitutes and other personnel. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District adopts the rates of pay for the following positions for the 2023-2024 school year. They're all listed here. I'm gonna I'll read them all out. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ed, Carl, do you want to speak to any of these?
Yeah.
Very close to that, into that microphone.
Sarah, it probably makes sense for me just to talk about the ones that we are year over year. The first two I'll combine, district clerk and the deputy district clerk. Last year it was at 7,000 and 1,000. They were at that amount for many years. We did a little bit of comparative study just looking at neighboring districts, Putnam, North, Westchester. We saw the range for district clerks between 12 and 15,000.
Jennifer, can you hear him okay?
He's a little garbled, but I have closed captioning on, and that's helping.
Is that, okay, good.
Jennifer, how's this?
That's a little better.
Okay, so we recommended increasing the district clerk. It is still, I would say, below average, but at least it's movement in the right direction. Additionally, there's a lead custodian stipend that was at 25,000 last school year. I am recommending an increase to 30,000, which is a $5,000 increase. The person who handles this responsibility is doing incredible work for us, proactively maintaining this building and probably saving us many times what that stipend is, just by being proactive with our facilities. The other increase, the manager of support services that was at 35,000 last year, I am recommending the increase to 42.5. Joe Jimmick does assume these responsibilities. Primary role, as the board understands, is our business official. School business administrator is the title. But Joe, fortunately, has an extensive background as an engineer. So when it comes to our facilities and as well as transportation, Joe has taken on multiple assignments and projects and responsibilities related to those two areas. So I do think the increase is warranted. Any questions on the stipend positions?
I have a question.
Jennifer, go ahead, please.
So I guess for me, I'm wondering, the manager of support services, not that, to me in reading it, there's two separate stipends there, one for transportation and one for the additional facilities work. And I'm wondering if it makes more sense to make it two separate stipends, not that it can't go to the same person, but that way, if someone else, if it got to be too much work or something happened, you would be able to split that out and let someone else step in for the remainder of a school year on a specific stipend. But I think all together as one, it's just putting all of your eggs in one basket. And if for any reason you needed to split out some of those responsibilities, because they're so varied.
That certainly could be done, Jen. It also could be done later if you found a need to let's say, remove one of those areas from this stipend. So
say we hire the bus driver, whoever we've been trying to hire, and then this person doesn't have to take on the duties. At the same time, the hire, we could transfer the duties over to this new person and then this stipended person of the duties and prorate the stipend. Is that how, rather than separating it out now?
Well, to be clear, we had someone who was getting a stipend to handle day-to-day transportation needs. Brian Bruning, who retired, was here for 15 years, drove a bus for us, knew every road, every private road, knew and had relationships with the bus company, other districts, as well as other schools and out of district transportation. So Brian was receiving a stipend, but he was very unique. I don't believe we will find an outside person who could come in and fulfill those responsibilities. So we have it advertised, on OLAS. We have signs posted everywhere. We were on monster.com and tried something new. I think we had one applicant person wasn't not even qualified to drive the bus. So, and this is going on 3 months. So we're going to continue our recruiting efforts, but I think it's highly unlikely that we would find a transportation person who could fill Brian's responsibilities. Now, Joe, I'm going to say this at the risk of embarrassing Joe. Joe's pretty unique. I've worked with a lot of business officials. If Joe moved on at some point, I don't think you'd find a business official who has an engineering background and is able to use transportation software and do all the things that Joe does. In my opinion, that could potentially be the time to revisit the previous model that we had, which was the director of facilities and transportation, and then separately a school business administrator. And I think that would be the time, to look at total compensation and overall it would cost a lot. But you may need to do that at some point in the future if Joe would move on. As I know, Joe was with us, and we're grateful for that. And these are annual stipends, so I'm pretty confident that things will not change this school year. And look, I hate to say this, but transportation must work. Children have to get to school as a legal requirement, and I have every bit of confidence that Joe will do whatever it takes if it means coming in on a Saturday or Sunday to go through that software program and get the bus routes where they need to be. He's a true professional, and we recognize that it may be a challenge, but we have to get it done. I also think Joe will be honest with me, and if it's too much over the course of the year, we can revisit it for next year.
I also want to clarify, when we removed the transportation stipend that was in the budget last year, this number does not reflect a combination of those two stipends. So just taking on the work for greatly reduce while saving us money. The more we put on Joe, the more it saves us money, which I really think appreciate Joe. But I do share Jennifer's concern that this is a lot that you are doing currently, and if anyone else can do this. One of the things I was thinking of, I know there was a question of why did the stipend, how do we use the term stipend as well? I don't know if you want to speak to that a little bit, Carl. I know you spoke with our council today about the term stipend is not just for work after hours, all work outside of the actual job description. We want to be very careful with our job description so that we do need to that position and that pay makes sense in the market, if I'm being clear. Jennifer, shout out if you want to jump in again, please, okay?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, just to start the conversation, the stipend is basically compensation. In some cases, and in Garrison, we have many stipends because the nature of a small district is they have a need for a certain responsibility or duty. However, it doesn't make sense to hire a full-time person. And I use a perfect example is athletic. Our physical education teacher, Mr. Beckley, who has a full-time job, additionally receives a stipend on top of his compensation to be the athletic director. That job, for the most part, has a lot of after-hour responsibility, attending practices, games, interviewing coaches, things like that. That occurs after school hours. But there also are things that need to happen during the school day. The weather is bad, and the game needs to be rescheduled, transportation needs to be canceled. That has to happen sometimes at 10 or 11 a.m. And Mr. Beckley handles that. It's to our advantage because we pay him $5,000 to the athletic director. Athletic directors, full-time in other districts are commanding $150,000, $170,000 a year. Now, that's if you have 40 teams. We only have about a half dozen in some of our mergers, but still the need is there. And he fulfills the need for I would consider that a nominal and each stipend is somewhat different. That's an example of like a hybrid where some duties happen during school hours, some happen after hours, but I would describe these stipends as, compensation, sometimes for duties performed during the school day, sometimes after school hours, but also what they all share in common is they're outside of your basic job description. These are above and beyond additional responsibilities. For example, what Joe is doing, again, a school business administrator simply would not do.
And one of the reasons, one of my concerns is if we were to combine the stipend into salary and Joe did decide to launch, if he did, the salary for that would be greatly beyond what we that makes sense. Do I have, so I want to make sure everyone's comfortable with this. It sounds like we can go back and change it. Should we find somebody who wishes to take on the transportation role? And Joe, we have your assurance that you will let Carl know if this gets to be too much and we need to figure out how to find that person.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So Sarah, can I just add, like, to say, for me, it would be cleaner if it was split out now, because to go back in 3 months and say, well, now let's split it out, it could be arbitrary as to what part is the transportation part plus compared to what part is what are the other parts. So to me, it's cleaner to split it out and then give Joe both stipends than it is to leave it lumped as one, say we're saving money, and then if someone comes in, like, I would hate if Joe's saving us money for the next person to say, well, I need more money, and then Joe loses out.
Okay, I follow that. Do I have, everyone else agree?
I think I would ask, it's falling on Joe's shoulders, so do you have a problem with it being separated? Like, is it cleaner and easier to both of us with one, or is there a problem separating? I just don't understand it.
I don't think necessarily that it matters whether it's separated now or not.
The fiscal office,
Here's my question. Are the actual duties clearly delineated? So is there a support services description of something? First, transportation services.
We had that for last year, so yes, and that's the bulk of it. So what we're really looking at the split off the increase of 2,500.
And then if we were to hire somebody to take on the transportation, that person would not be hired on the stipend. Stipend is something. But if we hire somebody else, Joe will lose the 2,500. The other person's job. They'll get more than that.
Yeah, and the stipend for last year for Brian and Clark, 25,000. 25,000. We only moved over. We did not.
I think that was
77.
77,000.
Essentially, if it came to it, that we needed to separate out the compensation stipends specifically for transportation, it would just be a reduction on Joe's stipend amount, but would directly transfer over to the new position. Right, so it's not like a different year, right? But Joe's getting $7,000, it's not somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
They would have to come in under that position. So.
No, it's a district created position. It could be filled by an administrator or someone from the bargaining units. I mean, one proposal is let's take the additional 7,500 that we were adding to the manager support services stipend and put back the transportation coordinator stipend, set it at 7,500. And then, to your point, we can always renegotiate that if somewhere in the future we have someone else who may be able to fulfill that role. I do think Joe is going to be able to handle this, but until you get into it, it's fair to say until you really get into this, it's hard to know how challenging it will be. And we are reworking all of our bus routes, and so there are some unknowns. So if that's agreeable to everyone, have then a excuse me, $35,000 stipend for manager of support services, a $7,500 stipend for transportation coordinator, and that would be for Georgia.
Get to
Well, and the only thing I'll say is these are district created positions, so if we're all comfortable just thinking of support services, this is transportation, I mean, it could do it all together. I mean, it's just,
Yes.
so it's just that in the past, we've had them separate. And so I think, feel like we want to. It has been, but really, if the manager of support services could oversee anything support, which should maybe include transportation.
That was the original
Under one
thought.
line.
That
Yeah.
was the original thought was, manager of support services manages operation and maintenance. Well,
And in the past, we did have one position handling facilities and transportation. So it was always combined, but I think there's no real right or wrong here. It's a matter of what the board is comfortable with. What are you comfortable with? Frankly, either way is fine. Joe's going to do the same work and it will be the same compensation. So, and he'll be underpaid for it. And I'm confident that we'll make everything work.
I respect Jennifer's position though, that the public may be seeing them split out so that we really understand the duties. And that we are very clear on how much we're asking of Joe, going forward. That may be helpful.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, honestly, I can see the points of either way, but I think Jocelyn, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Is in respective of our district of how small it is and how, especially over the last several years, we've done so much restructuring and reorganization as people come in and people need and take on responsibilities. Joe certainly wins the prize for wearing the most hats, but everybody in this field, even very small people here. But I think
I think that also helps us make sure that we don't pile on too much and expand the job description on whether a manager, what we're getting close to. But
no, Joe's got room for a few more.
I wanted to get into security. Security. Does this sound amendable to split? Are we comfortable then with splitting them out? Understand they're all going to Joe and we'll define the roles as such. So that we understand we have two Joes carrying that. And reject. Okay.
Well, I thought really good.
Okay, we have to speak really closely and clearly into that microphone.
Okay, I just have two questions still on this whole thing. Done with Joe. The lead custodian is like $30,000, and that is going to an employee currently off on salary. That also is a large stipend, and that I know it's a slight increase from the previous years, but it just seems like why is that not part of the job description? Custodian? Why is that a separate over the top stipend? And then my second question, just so they're all out there, if I see that there's one hourly rate on here that's below $20 an hour, and I think our district, despite our fiscal challenges, should be able to pay folks more than $20 an hour or more. So we'll prove it, but I think that we should work on getting it.
You're looking at records management clerk at 19.
Yeah, I don't even know who actually takes on that role, but
I'm the clerk who wears a lot of other.
okay. So I just think that, right.
Still have to do them.
So I'll start, but then I'm gonna ask Joe to fill in here because the gentleman who handles the lead custodian responsibilities. Our SRP base salary is comparative. It's one other consideration that publicly, but those base salaries comparative.
Other districts.
Yes, to other districts in the area. We have someone who, again, I think being creative and looking at the talents and the experiences of employees here. So the model that's in place now works with We believe the people who are here, if those people move on, I strongly would recommend that. This all has to be revisited. But this particular person with 25 years in the construction industry and the ability to really do high-level facilities work and oversee that work and also evaluate what is needed when there are problems is incredibly valuable. The type of work that the person is doing is like the director of facilities or without question, custodian. And you know, those in other districts, those are all six-figure plus positions. But this does bring the compensation, I believe, somewhere, Joe, in the total combined stipend base 75 to 80,000 range. But we do think it's fair, and we think we're getting value from it. Joe, do you want to add anything to?
Yeah, so
lead custodian?
I think the part of this position is the ability to assign tasks and work, and by doing it in this way, it allows a distinction to have a civil service part of the classification is on one side, and the distinction of management of the operations is on another. Because we don't currently have a head custodian title here at Garrison, and in order for us to create one, we need to be more competitive on the wage.
If somebody left, if the current individual who has the skills and manages other people is left this position, we could revert back to the position we currently have under the civil service.
Yep.
And that would keep what is contracted with the SRB at the same rate. Through collective bargaining. Okay.
Correct. Then, Jocelyn, part two of the comments, as we know, minimum wage has gone up. Everything has gone up. So the increases here are increases from lower salaries. What prompted us to revisit these was the minimum wage going up, and of course, 2.5 years, 16%, I believe is the number. So, but I do understand there's an argument to be made that, 20 an hour, would be a more appropriate hourly rate. We're not far below that with one, and the other is $3 below. The other thing we can do is monitor compensation, Putnam, Northern Westchester, and see, are they offering a little bit above minimum, or are they more in that $20 an hour range? And certainly Joe and I can do that work and come back to the board if we think there's still we should be.
And I would just say that obviously the people wear any hat, well, just like the folks who are getting infected. And so it's just about the fact that they probably do more jobs. Just working and our as well, and then I was about to do the math to see how much they're making an hour.
All right. With those changes and those questions answered, Jennifer, do you have any other questions on these stipends or on the conversation we just had? If there's anything you missed, let me know. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions regarding the establishment of annual pay rates for substitute personnel? All right. I need an amended. Do I need to do?
Yeah, so what we can just do is suspend this motion.
Okay, we're going to suspend this motion, and I'm going to read a new motion. Can I just say as amended under school year? Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District adopts the rates of pay for the following positions for the 2023-2024 school year as amended. Amendments are as discussed. May I have a motion, please?
So,
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay, abstention. Great. Move on to the establishment of annual rates for facility dues. Will be another fun discussion. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby establishes the annual rates for facilities use as follows. May I have a motion, please? Did I miss something? So sorry, we're listed here, but during the school year, the athletic field, we changed, in the spring. So this is what I want to bring forth for discussion now. Ken, you want to speak?
I would propose that we either change it to a flat rate season, the athletic, specifically for the athletic, which does not cause a lot of economic costs for our school district, is generally used for practices for t-ball. The Little League is not able to practice all the time. T-ball. Albany, just for reference, does not charge community organizations that are not for profit athletic arts and history departments for their facilities. So Little League or those things on that. I would either propose that we charge them a flat fee for practice sporting season or waive the fee specifically athletic. I'm open for discussion on the gymnasium and the indoor facilities. I have less passion for waiving those fees since they do require a study building and get you to do all the side of things. But the athletic field specifically, and Joe, tell me if I'm wrong, it's not really at any cost to have a team practice after our team season.
Yeah, if lines are not required or anything.
Yeah, there's no competition happening, it's just practice. So, I mean, I would be just as welcome to solid teams. But that's
Well,
where-
some of
that's
them
where-
require, it depends on the sport, some require lining for the competition. I would be in favor.
I mean, they and also like they all look like that. They would realize. Regardless, the outdoor facilities. I'd really personally also just like the community to use those things. Pretty underused gym. Those across the street, which never uses this. Nobody ever uses this. So just it'd be nice to have more.
Right, Jennifer, I want to make sure you caught that. We're talking about the cost. You got all that? Okay, thank you. Yeah, go for it then.
Would we still require people to apply to use the deals? Yeah, I think that's required because you have to have a given insurance. Yeah. We want to verify that they are. Say they are. We don't want, maybe an untoward happening in this field.
Yeah, how much do we manage the outside for both outside and inside? Yeah, not much, Joe can give you the specifics.
Yes.
See why.
So our largest user last year was CYO for basketball for the basketball gym. And that probably amounted to the schedule that is here. It's typically driven by the fact that they were doing their games on a Sunday. So I think we probably got close to $6,000 primarily.
That requires me to open the building, have a custodian there, clean up after, heat the building in winter, gym, all of that.
Do you expect any?
I don't know if we're gonna have additional people that are in demand to come, but
Are there any grounds for keeping the field other than state?
the insurance, we don't have it, we don't have insurance, or if it's a use that doesn't align with the district.
Our policy does state if there's also if you misuse it, we'll clean up. You no longer have access to it. That's the agreement they signed.
Was there any request for use of the?
Sarah, I can't hear you anymore.
I think I spoke too quiet there. Okay, can you hear me now? Sorry, I'll be really loud again. I was just saying that, our policy and the agreement both state that if you misuse the field, don't clean up after yourself, you lose the privilege of using our field or facilities. And that's in both the policy manual and in whatever they sign to use it.
I had a kind of an unrelated question, but maybe relevant. Do we know the modified agreements for next year? Because I've heard discussion that perhaps Halden might not want to do modified softball with us. He might not be doing modified soccer. I was just curious if those things.
We've approved some of them already.
I'd have to go back and look at.
Did girls soccer.
Boys, I know we have boys.
Was not
That merge.
about softball.
That's a spring one.
So that would be another thing to think about with that field. If we were not merged with Halden, we would need to have that field, and maybe that would be an opportunity for the Little League to maybe make it a more efficient. We had to do our own competitions if we don't combine.
And then, to be clear, when we release the field, it's always after modified. So modified takes,
Right,
they get
right.
it first day.
Yeah, if there's any school activities, school sports, any outside user has to work around our schedule.
But that's a subject.
Colby, did you have anything?
I was just asking if, were there any other requests for the use of the athletic field?
No, soccer didn't request anything.
I would be comfortable with a flat fee per season, just to cover like general mowing, like very minimal to $2 for using it. If others are comfortable with that. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't hear what was just said.
I was just saying I would be comfortable with a low, like a flat fee for the season, a very nominal fees or almost a contribution to us to support some of the maintenance of the field, seeing if they're using it.
I would agree with you on that. I would love to be able to also say and do something in kind for the community, like a food drive or help clean up the nature trail, but I don't know if we can do that.
No, she's saying, maybe it's in lieu of a fee, the community group can do something that clean up the nature trail and do a community service.
That'd be nice. It would be hard to organize.
I feel like it's a community. I feel like we're already, we're doing the maintenance. There's not additional cost associated with using a sensitive person.
Was there any additional wear and tear in the fields from people?
No,
I think that we didn't used to really charge that much, and then we instituted a charge because our budget is so deficient. So it's like, okay, let's try to see if there's ways to collect nominal fees.
I don't think that's
I
that's
agree.
not our solution.
So it makes a lot of sense to go back, especially field, it will require personnel.
And not something, I agree with the interior. Our interiors are valuable, and I'm fine then with waiving the fee on the athletic field. Jennifer, are you okay with that too? Yeah. Okay, so that's waived. We're gonna go to 0. You're gonna help me. Is that okay?
But just to clarify, they still have to fill out the
Yeah.
application.
to apply.
They have to apply.
Wait, can I also just throw out, what if it's not a sport? What if someone wants to have a fair or
They still need.
a flea market on the athletic field? No, but is the fee waived?
That's where you have what the holding we're talking about.
It's only available.
Athletic. So I think we could put some policy.
Okay,
language
yeah.
on it.
So that- Okay, so that's something that we need to policy, to rewrite the policy.
If they require additional services that would be an expense for the district, then there would be additional.
I think there's a simple way to resolve it. I would recommend leaving the $50 fee. If out of town organization, for profit or something like that, it's unlikely, but if they wanted to use our field, I think we should charge them with a $50 fee. In the rules and regulations, there is an attachment. Number 2 specifically says Garrison area community organizations use. They use district facilities without rental fee, providing they do not charge for participation in the activity or admission to performances and games. These groups will be charged if setup or cleanup is required. So I think that just needs to be altered slightly, because I think our issue is you could waive the fees, but Little League, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, does charge a participation fee. If we just take out that phrase, providing they do not charge a participation fee, we eliminate that, we could provide it free of charge to Little League and make it a lot less complicated. But outside groups or organizations, if they want to be,
I guess my only hesitation about that is how is that going to be administered? Is that going to make a much bigger headache than, because how do you define, is it 50% outlay, 50% Garrison, or 50% Garrison, 50%, Upper Valley, what are we, how are we judging it? And then, you get into a question of, you let another group like this use the field for free, and you didn't let us do it, and think that.
So what most districts do from reading their policies is that if students who go to school in the district are participating in sport, some of them set limits, but we could just say if students from the Garrison district are participating, then it is considered a community event. So it doesn't matter if it's one student from Garrison or they're 50% of the team. That becomes a district community, Garrison community, and that's how I see most of them set it up, so that you don't say have, and it's also in other areas to make sure that from what I read in their policies, which some say far away, don't come take the spot. I don't think our field is in that high demand of your community location, so they don't come in first and say, all right, well, we've already rented it, we reserved it, give it our return. We have the organization.
So that would exclude like community adult athletic competitions. Would it just be students? Garrison students have to be participating? That's an interesting question. That's sort of what I want. I mean, it's just more trouble than it's worth. Should we just?
My feeling is that this quote is not genuine income. You're spending a lot of time on this. I'm not exactly sure why, because we can always, if there's a conflict, bring it up when it happens. The status quo is fine.
I guess the only question is, did it work fine for the Little League this season? Mark, find out we did.
So I think we want to put the waiver in, and let's revise this outside of this meeting. We'll take another look at the language in what we send out to them for the application. How about that? And then my only last question is that what we charge CYO, did that cover the costs of everything? So
it covered the main thing we were looking at capturing is to make sure we captured the labor.
Okay.
That was the largest component of the overall cost. So yes, it did capture the labor, and we did not have trouble as far as trying to staff it. We had enough volunteers.
Okay. So where we ended up, guys, for clarification on it, and just trying to bring it up, is that we are reducing the athletic field to 0, not 50, and leaving everything else the same, and we will look at the language.
I thought you were going to leave it at 50 and then change the language.
Okay. We'll do that. We made 50 and change the language. Everyone's happy with that?
Spirit of this, not charge.
Good, Jennifer, you good? Still with us, yeah, that's good. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nay.
Aye.
Thank you. Nay, abstention. Next, establishment of annual rate for non-resident tuition for the 2023-2024 school year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, in accordance with board policy and the regulations set forth by the New York State Commissioner of Education, hereby establishes a non-resident tuition rate for the 2023-2024 school year for non-resident students in the amount of $16,825 per student. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Any questions on that?
We had two dollars.
Yes, yes.
Great.
For more? Point of reference. I just-
Welcome. All right, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay. I'm sorry, nay, abstention. Now I'm going to. Okay, we're gonna quickly go back and revisit number 6, which is annual appointment. I need a motion to amend to include the transportation coordinator as Joe Jimmick. May I have a motion, please? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Thank you. Is that clear everything up to that? You? Okay, next we're gonna go on to the adjournment of the annual reorg meeting. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby concludes the annual reorganizational meeting. May I have a motion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstention. Okay, next, welcome to the Wednesday, July 12th, 2023 Garrison Board of Education regular business meeting.
Yeah, you can start on the longest.
Yeah, you're all welcome, yeah. So, call this meeting to order. I'm gonna call to order, accept agenda changes. Does anybody have any proposed changes before I read this, to this?
I propose that we do not reference to, because he left in his own records.
Yes. Done. Okay. All right. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accept the agenda. Understand, right, as presented. As presented. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Okay. We wish to thank Dylan Horan for his Eagle Scout presentation, which we did before the reorg meeting so that he did not have to sit through the fun of the reorg meeting. An hour and a half in, I think he's glad about that. We are going to accept his donation. Whereas, as part of his Eagle Scout project, former Garrison student Dylan Horan raised money to provide signage to the Garrison School Forest, and whereas Dylan has a surplus of funds needed to complete this project and would like to donate the surplus to the Garrison Union Free School District, and whereas the district would like to accept such donation, therefore be it resolved, the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accepts the donation from Dylan Horan in the amount of $672.75 for district purposes as the district determined. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. All right. Thank Dylan for donating the excess funds for his Eagle Scout project. I hope everyone goes to the forest to check out his sign. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nays, abstention. Okay, next up, we have the discussion and assignment of board liaison to Haldane High School, James O'Neill High School, and Putnam Valley High School. All right, I forgot to send an email about this one. I'm sorry, guys. First up, we'll go with Haldane. Kent, do you want to do the Haldane? Is anyone interested in being the Haldane?
I will
liaison? All right.
Can I just ask what the commitment is for these and what it's all?
That is a great question. It varies greatly. Kent was called upon, I think, once to go to a meeting and present sort of our budget story to the Haldane board at a public meeting, which he did a fantastic job and spoke for a very long time.
But that is generally the exception.
Yeah. So, O'Neill is different. O'Neill would love to have a board member if there's a board member who is interested at every board meeting. They are very welcoming. They seek our input. They recognize that they not only take our money, but have our students and wish to include us on all parts of it, which is wonderful. Different model from the others. But because they also have a West Point representative, they'd love to have a Garrison one. The West Point representative is there. I went to their budget meeting. If no one else is interested in going all the time, then just budget season. They'd be happy to have our but as much time as we're willing to give, O'Neill will take. Putnam Valley this is new this year, so we'll find out what they're interested and how excited they are to have us. So that's basically the commitment.
What night?
Haldane's are Tuesdays, O'Neill's are Thursdays, and I believe Putnam Valley are Thursdays as well. Other than that, the liaison is just somebody that they can contact if they have questions. They can contact me too. I'm in touch with the board president. I haven't been in touch with Putnam Valley board president much yet, but I am in touch. Sorry, I did get email this falls for the joint. Look at that. Oh, anyway, good. So that's basically it. We've got Kent for Haldane. Unless you're really excited about it. So, anyone interested in O'Neill?
Can I ask one other question?
Yeah.
The next agenda item, assignment for liaisons for the other school board associations.
Yeah.
Are those positions filled that are people are doing or what?
Those are
What are the time
totally-
commitments for those ones?
Up for grabs as well. NISBA, Madeline did last year for us. And it's NISBA, if the board wishes to put forth a resolution, NISBA is a little bit more of a time commitment. And then also attending the annual school board, New York State School Board Association meeting as our representative in voting is part of that job as well. So that is a little more time consuming. The Westchester Putnam School Board Association, I'm on the board for that, so I'm happy to do that one if anyone's interested, but it can be whatever time commitment you want. That's quite welcome, any and all involvement, but I'm in most of their meetings anyway.
And then this will be for the annual meeting that takes place.
It's virtual now. Yeah, it's not, you just vote on the office. I think Madeline found it kind of interesting. She could hear what all the other districts
I
are
was
interested.
plan for that one. I should check schedule for us.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you, Jennifer? We're gonna get to that one next. All right, I'm gonna write something with that. And then
I think our two, wants on the board member. One last, high school liaison.
I mean, well, I would be happy to, determine what the time commitment is, but certainly be the liaison for Putnam Valley. As I'll be a new parent at Valley High School next year, so it's a good, I think, learn a little bit more. So I'd be happy to take that.
okay.
We did throw us on the bus, just.
Have any interest? I know. I'm happy to do the O'Neill through the budget season again as I can. I found it's really a time, it's just I didn't have enough time to go to all of them, but I find it very interesting and fascinating. And we can also, I think, we can divide it up. If anyone else ever wants to go to an O'Neill meeting, they would welcome any one of our board members. If you just want to go see what they're doing, learn about the school.
I would be a co, it's Tuesday or Thursday?
Those ones are Thursday night.
I could be a co.
Sure.
And you're getting the OP bus over.
All I'm doing.
We're lucky.
My
you're
board
doing
was
it.
lucky girl.
Yeah. All right. Jennifer, you follow that? So, yep. All right. No, she's good. All right. So that you got all that. So that gives us Kent for Haldane, Dan and I will handle O'Neill. Courtney's going to do Putnam Valley.
I'll handle the website and this will begin. All right, so that gets us through the end. Now we're going to go on to the discussion of board and committee assignments. We also here have the charges. So before we do the charges, though, we penciled this one out in advance. So I'm just going to read through what we've got and who's agreed to serve where. And then we'll start talking about the different charges. All right, for audit, it's going to be, I'll be on audit again. Thank you all for letting me have this. I appreciate it. Dan and Jennifer agreed to join me. I'm happy to chair this one again. My favorite. Okay. Now we're going to move on to planning. Jocelyn has volunteered to chair planning again and have Kent and David serve as well. So that keeps that whole committee the same. DEI, Jocelyn, you're up for chairing that one again as well. Courtney and Dan are also listed there as members for DEI. Facilities, I have Dan has volunteered to chair it. Thank you for stepping in. And David and Kent on the facilities committee. Policy, Courtney's offered to chair again, and Jennifer and David listed as your members. Budget advisory, Jennifer has offered to chair this new committee. Once the charge is approved, I'll serve on it as well. And Courtney, and then finance, I have Kent as chair. I'll serve on it again as well, and Jocelyn has offered to join. So that's where we are with our committees. And now, if everyone is still in agreement with what we've decided, feel comfortable with the assignment, then just clarify policy for you. I wrote it all out. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Excited about committee? Okay, look at t-shirt. So for the charges, everything, correct me if I'm wrong, remains the same except we're adding the budget advisory charge. And this is what I wanted us all to take a look at as it's new, and I think there were some questions here. Anybody wants to jump in with any questions or thoughts on this committee?
I'll start with several.
That would be great, Jen.
I mean, whatever. It says in there that the finance committee or the budget committee, the finance committee chair should be the chair of this committee.
Yeah, so we should strike that.
I would advocate putting in some defined deliverables for the committee, and really try to structure it to be a feedback mechanism for the community. So maybe some language that talks about feedback on the finance committee's budget recommendations. I just want to make sure that we're very clear about what our expectations are for the community understands what this committee will check as well. Especially given the fact that the committee will not have access to a lot of information that we have budget together.
What about prior to the finance committee's budget presentation of the BAC in that process?
And that's kind of what I'm getting. We set up some dates in which we can preview our budget proposal or where we are in our budget proposal to this committee, get feedback before we bring it to the public. I don't know. I don't really.
Well, the way I'm looking and reading this is more, it's not about, I think the question that becomes is it's a budget advisory committee about every year's budget. So the way this is drafted, it's more about short and long-term budget obligation. Like, are we really looking at long-term picture, broader scope? Or are they looking,
short-term would be issues.
but are they looking at the nitty-gritty?
And after going through this, the long-term is fairly limited in what you're actually able to do. So
so that brings one of the things I'd like to see is that we do a mandated training, and even if our legal counsel leads it, just because of what I don't want to see happen, and I know I discussed this with Jennifer as well before this meeting, that I don't want to see the committee
come up with ideas that don't coincide with education law. I know we have a lot of creative thinkers in the community, and they come back and they want to do X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of our limitations already in place, so I don't want to have our community members volunteer their time to spin their wheel, potentially. So I'd love to have council maybe sit with them for if they're the appropriate person. Somebody sit with them to make sure they understand school finance. It's all board members are fairly extensive training on school finance before serving, and I think that would be appropriate for this committee as well, to help them understand the scope of what they can do, but then go back to much.
Yeah.
I wanted to add that, Sarah, maybe that should be on bullet 4, that along with in alignment of the strategic plan and in alignment with state law, New York state law, put it right out there.
Sarah, is this document you want to share? I want to comment on it and work on this a little bit.
I think that's an excellent idea. So we don't have to approve it tonight. It's one that's for approval. We'll all share comments.
I hadn't planned on this one being approved.
Okay.
In the resolution, because my thought was
Okay. Great. So Sherry thought, so then everyone start thinking about what this committee's role is in terms of how they interact with the finance committee and the budget process. And we will revisit this. Figure out where okay. All right. Go ahead then and read this recommended action if we're all good. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Preschool District hereby approves the renewal of the committee charges for the Audit Committee, DEI Committee, Facilities Committee, Finance Committee, Planning Committee, and Policy Committee as presented. May I have a motion, please? All in favor, please say aye. Nays, abstention.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. On the facilities committee, it lists the supervisor of buildings, grounds, and transportation. I think you have to change that committee membership. I don't think you have that position anymore, correct?
Agreed, Joan. We should replace it with Joe's first time.
Well, he's already on there as the business official, so.
Yeah, I think one person. We'll correct it, Jen.
We'll correct it and bring it back for approval at a later date. All right, we'll correct that and bring it back for approval at a later date. Public comment. So,
Not a community. I don't care.
the public comment policy is printed on our agenda and available in board docs for anyone who wishes to read it. We don't have members of the public currently present in the audience, so I will not read my paragraph tonight. Please join us next time. Accept the minutes. Okay. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Preschool District hereby accepts the minutes of the regular meeting of June 21st, 2023 as presented. May I have a motion? Okay. Do you have any questions on the minutes as presented? Like it's a lot more.
They said it this summer.
Oh. Sludge adding. All right. No questions on the minutes?
Sleep, that's a problem.
All in favor of accepting this, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstention. Personnel items. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Preschool District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, is hereby approved the items of the personnel consent agenda as presented. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. All right, Carl, I'm gonna let you speak for a minute. We have a teacher appointment.
Yeah, I think probably we have 3 new employees, so I'll just highlight them. First, we are recommending Emily Cunningham to be middle school English teacher this upcoming school year. Emily has a very impressive academic background. She went to Stanford University, undergraduate degree as well as graduate degree in English literature. She did initially start her career working at nonprofit organizations, just to name a few: the Black Rock Forest, Wildlife Conservation Society, Bronx. But most recently, she was at Mercy College, and she was assistant program director for grants. Did some great work, but her intent of working at Mercy was to pursue her graduate degree in education. And her dream was always to be a middle school English teacher. So the committee was just very impressed. We had about 160 applicants. We did go through 2 rounds of interviews, committee interviews, individual interviews, and then eventually demonstration lessons. And she emerged as our top choice. So I'm pleased to recommend her, and she did a good job making some middle school English. Alessandra Enderly, what was her graduate in English literature, undergrad and graduate. And she did the honors program. She did research with her studies. Additionally, this is not a new person to Garrison, but Alessandra Enderly started with us last year as our middle school Spanish teacher. She started right out of St. Thomas Aquinas College. She was a recent graduate, and we gave her the opportunity because her professors and her references and mentors spoke so highly of her. Spanish teachers were very hard to find. So we did give her the opportunity. We hired her to a term, which was just through June 30th. And we have to say we are very, very pleased with her work thus far. All of our students passed the Checkpoint A exam, which means they received their high school credit as that they moved up to that grade. And what I'd like to do now, she's 50% of the graduate. She's eligible for reinstatement certificate, so she is basically has 2 years to complete her graduate degree, which I have no doubt she would do, and we'd like her to continue with us. So that is that recommendation. And the third one is for cleaner position. We will Jack Nobly, who's been in the district for over 20 years, retired. We for 3 months been interviewing Joe. Thank you, Joe and Michael. Gone to many interviews. I met Ernesto, and I think he's going to be fantastic. Most of his career has been working in country clubs for the Westchester, Hubbard County area. Also, he's done some work for Walmart, but he's got probably about 20 years indoors, outdoors, and I think that's a good skill set for us. So maybe he can cleaner here at Garrison. The additional recommendations, they're all people either applying for stipends. There's a salary increase. One of them is for me. I know Sarah, if you'd like to speak to that.
I'll take that one. We do a year-to-year with the superintendent's agreement. We have a salary schedule due every year as a board. As we froze all of our administrators' salaries last year, so this is an increase for the coming year. Thank you, Carl, for his work. The other same. All right. Does anyone have any questions on our new teacher appointments, any of the summer appointments, there's 2 bus drivers on here, there's a whole lot. Any question for Carl on anything on the consent agenda? Okay, go ahead and move to a vote then. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay, abstention. All right, just to welcome our new teachers and welcome to the staff. All right. Go ahead. For the new business, right?
Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, on the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the new business as presented. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. To speak to any of these, Carl?
Yeah, two in particular. So most of these are annual renewals, but I would like to point out that Haldane School District has agreed to a term of instruction contract that will cover the current 8th grade class as they move into 9th grade in September of 2024. It would guarantee that the tuition 2% CPI until junior year, because we have we may only have a 5-year contract with them. That's what's allowable. And we have to do a proposition to get another agreement 5 years. So what I recommend, that class is covered for the duration of the contract. Sometime spring, we will consider going again with proposition to extend that 5 years, continue that summer. Not only with Haldane, but with all the classes.
We just did the Putnam Valley this spring, so it would be offset.
Have to do this every other year.
Basically, yes. That would be my recommendation.
We
don't have
guarantee it 4 years. All right, well, thank you to Haldane for doing, brings us the same terms for 20 years, 8th grade, all high schools.
And I've said this before, but I think it's worth mentioning. We have a separate agreement because we're partnering with Haldane on a special education class at our elementary school. Very excited. We have 2 Garrison students and we have 2 Haldane students, and it makes perfect sense for us to partner, combine resources, and to cost saving for both districts, and we look forward to that partnership.
Question on that. I think you had mentioned previously trying to put out the word that that program is available for students. How's that going? And are you expecting more over the course of summer potentially, or?
Well, what we think, we haven't done a formal written notice of, it's been more word of mouth than, but we are considering sending out an email to special ed directors. I think once it's established, a lot of parents who may be considering an out-of-district placement can support that. They typically like to go in and observe the program, in my experience. So it'll be established, and any student fits the profile. We need to verify that. Yes. And if the program was fit, then they go there. So in this agreement, also, Garrison has the ability to take additional students and full ed. So that is a good thing. We haven't been aggressively marketing it, but we plan to really push.
Do I have any other questions on the new business items? I just want to thank GSAP for their donation that they accepted as part of this musical instruments in the amount of $20,000 for musical instrument supplies, which is truly generous. Okay, and if there's no other questions, we're going to go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor, please. Sorry, go ahead.
There's one question about the positions. It's not usually I'll just leave it clear what the actual fee was being paid. There's another exchange for that.
Yes, I sent an email back. It's minutes before the meeting, so I apologize for that. So the 3,500 is an annual stuff. So Joe, I believe it's paid in installments. That is what the agreement speaks to. So I think your question was, if I understand, was it every installment 3,500, or to be clear that it's 3,500 over the course of the school year in equal installments?
Yeah, clarifying that and what the installment is. I don't think that's a big deal. I didn't think the contract was clear about the installment amount.
We can go back, all contracts are drafted by council, so we can keep it back to council. If we,
Yeah, 3,500.
I mean, I'm fine with
are you comfortable with it? Any other questions? Concerns?
It's the only question I had was regarding the website. Whether that's just a plan to continue that or just continue for the house.
Yeah, good question. Quite frankly, last year, as you may recall, Mike built the website for us. So we thought it was safe to kind of stay with him. The year I got busy, and some capacity and had Mike do more training. And as things really progressed, we more or less had Mike, making updates and changes for us. I would say this, the charges were full. I know, Joe, I don't know if you.
I didn't delve into how much that did.
We could total it out, but there were minimum fees that he charged. I think staying with us was for his pride. The website that he created for us and wanting to see it continue. But I would like at some point to consider some knowledge and skills in-house for someone to take that over. And so I would ask that we stick with Garrison, and come up with a plan. I can work with James on maybe training, identifying and maybe train someone in-house.
Fred? All right. You go ahead and move to a vote then. New business items, all in favor, please say aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Nays, abstention. Okay, back to public comments. There's no one here. Let's move on to board member comments and other discussion. Jocelyn, you're up first. No. David. Jennifer. No comment, great. Dan.
I would just say I'm excited to be here. I look forward to working with you all. This is, I'm excited to have the support for the school. See, I have a 4.5-year-old daughter who went through that pre-K program. It's a great experience, and look forward to getting more involved and getting to know you all better. Very glad to have.
Courtney.
Just welcome Dan and Jennifer still and our new board for next
Ken.
it's an anonymous, I swear, everything. Goal, I know.
I mean, we can try and do this where we try to remember, like, when we started, we used to like vary it, but then I think Jocelyn, you were in charge of remembering where we started. Nobody can ever remember it, but I always went back to the beginning. Yes, you can have that role from that. You can
Probably
get
good.
All right, I will just remind our board that we have a board retreat on Saturday here in the Learning Commons at 9 a.m. So very excited for that. All right, we're gonna go to executive session next. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby enters into executive session for the purpose of discussion the employment history of a particular person and discussing collective bargaining negotiations with the GTA bargaining unit pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. We will adjourn the meeting without any further action being taken. Please shut down your computers, log out, log back.
So before you kill me on the screen, James, I'm gonna need like 3 or 4 minutes to move upstairs to a private area.
Yeah, take your time. We need